Hello everyone. When it comes to the desert, you may think of endless sand dunes, where it's sunny and windy and there's a big difference in the temperature between day and night. According to Business Insider, the pace of desertification in China increased during the second half of the last century. Although this trend has leveled off, the situation is still very serious. More than a quarter of China's land is degraded or transformed into desert due to farming, animal husbandry, excessive use of water, or climate change. However, the government has not shied away, making it a target that needs to be fixed. China has been actively involved in building large-scale desert reservoirs to change things. One such project involved 180,000 Chinese workers. This is what Top Wonders wants to share with you in today's video, which will definitely surprise you. But before that, I hope that you will take some time and like the video and subscribe to the channel, as well as sharing your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, let's come to the main content for today. You know, reservoirs help store water for irrigation and other uses to mitigate the effects of desertification and improve local water supplies. In addition to benefiting agriculture, these projects can also support industrial development, tourism, and other economic activities in the region. China is working to create the largest desert reservoir, which when completed will be able to irrigate an area of 900,000 square meters, making the desert greener than ever. It will take 40 years to complete the project, and 180,000 people are working to build this reservoir. As you know, the desert has no natural source of water, so you may be wondering where this reservoir gets its water from. This reservoir is called Hanhai Pearl because it's built in an arid desert. Desert reservoirs are rare in China and the rest of the world, so calling it a pearl is not an exaggeration. The reservoir can hold 148 million cubic meters of water and was built in 1958. It's also the largest man-made desert reservoir in Asia. It can hold 10 volumes of water equal to the water in Hangzhou, China's West Lake. Considering this, it may be difficult to understand why China would want to build reservoirs in the desert, unless that desert has a lot of oil. There is nothing good about living in the desert. For any project in the desert, labor costs are high. The project needs a lot of money, and it's impossible to make a profit from it in the near future. China, on the other hand, is the opposite of this in every way. Many of China's construction projects are in deserts spanning more than 1,000 kilometers of this country. In desert regions, railways, more than 5,000 kilometers of desert roads, and a lot of photovoltaic power units were built. China is becoming more desert-like at a very fast pace, and the country desperately needs water to prevent this from happening. That's the reason why China plans to build reservoirs. Greening the desert has been an important Chinese desert project for so long that anyone can remember, and they have been doing it for nearly a century. China is also the country that is doing the best job of greening deserts today. However, if you really want to control the desert well, you need to solve the problem of the desert not having enough water. So, China needs to build a reservoir in the desert to store water and control the desert so that millions of people can live in a city untouched by dust. China has a land area comparable to that of the United States at 9.6 million square kilometers, but its desert area is larger than 700,000 square kilometers, and the desert itself is 1.2 million square kilometers. China is thought to have lost at least $280 million because its land is becoming very dry. In addition, every year deserts in China grow and spread more than 3,000 square kilometers. So far, the desert has taken up 50,000 square kilometers of agricultural land, equivalent to the area of a small and medium-sized country. That's the place where two great deserts meet. On the one hand, the Tangier Desert is constantly growing. On the other hand, the Jirund Desert is huge. Both deserts have golden sand. All life died because the desert was growing, so the only thing left for the people in the city was to continue to flee. Since there were signs that the two huge deserts could merge into one, the Chinese government in 1958 decided to build a large reservoir here. You must be curious where the water stored in the reservoir comes from. Much of the water in the reservoir comes from the Shuyang River, which flows through the Hoshi Corridor and is in Chile's Andes. It's the third largest river in that area. It's made up of 4 different parts. First is surface water that permeates the middle and upper parts of the Shuyang River. The second is that spring water moves underground and rises to the surface at the northern edge of the Wui River basin. In the upper reaches of the river, both of these things happen. The other type of water is mountain water and spring water, found in the upper reaches of the Shuyang River. This water has not been used for irrigation and does not seep into the groundwater or any other water sources that are receding in the middle sections, including wastewater released from sewage treatment plants. The other issue is flooding during the flood season and the expansion of the Jingdian Phase 2 project to divert water to Minchen. Given all these problems, people might wonder what the benefits of building a reservoir are. At the water storage, there are water transport tunnels, floodgates, and unique West Dam flood overflows. Its main use is for storage and watering, and it also has a widely used effect, such as flood regulation and promoting fishing and tourism. The length of the dam is 8,060 meters, and its height is 15 meters. The reservoir covers an area of 25 square kilometers. The catchment area is 13,400 square kilometers. There are more than 900,000 acres of irrigated agricultural land. The area can provide drinking water to 250,000 people in the surrounding area. When farmers left the area, those who used to live there had to pay to buy food. However, they can now depend on water from the reservoir to grow. After this reservoir was completed, the local fishing and tourism industry experienced strong development. The agricultural economy was also boosted by rising incomes. People no longer have to worry about running out of water, so life is better overall. Since the lake is the most beautiful from 4 to 10 months every year, a lot of tourists come to visit during those months. The beautiful desert is surrounded by crystal clear waters and blue waves silhouetted on the green mountains. It was shocking to see. The water surface gives off a silvery light. Trees, meadows, water surfaces, and dunes blend together. In the lake, there is a natural swimming pool and full infrastructure, goods and services. Visitors can relax and work. This reservoir is beautiful to see and has a lot to offer tourists. When people think of deserts, the first thing that usually comes to mind is a sky full of sand and dust, a small population, and a no-go area. However, it's possible to build a reservoir in a dry desert. A lot of people may think this is an impossible dream to come true, but China has made this idea a reality. At this point, you may be wondering whether this reservoir was built in the desert, and if so, what problems did they encounter when building it? In 1958, when the reservoir was built, machinery was not as advanced as it is now. Food and clothing were expensive. Because of this, the construction process encounters a lot of problems that cannot be solved. The reservoir will be built between the Tangier and Bataan deserts, where the temperatures is so high and a lot of water evaporates every day because of the heat. When there's not enough water in the reservoir area will begin to shrink, possibly even completely depleted. Geological factors also contribute to a very serious sewage problem, with strong winds carrying sand that cause silt to accumulate in the reservoir and cause the lake bed to become deep and thick. Sand needs to be overcome by planting grass and wheat around the reservoir. Sand needs to be prevented by planting plants such as sanjube and red poplar. But these wonderful and hard-working people did not give up when things got tough. They knew that if they did not work hard to build the reservoir, they would later have to leave this land. So 180,000 buildings were built to hold the sand in place. In addition, engineers altered the flow of the Shariang River to help the reservoir construction get as much water as possible when they built the reservoir. However, there is a limitation that during construction they do not care about protecting the ecological environment. This caused the river's flow to decline rapidly, and in less than a year, the upper reaches of the Shariang River stopped flowing. And to maintain the good purpose of building this lake, it has been the effort of generations of Chinese people since then. Most studies attribute desert formation to changes in plant patterns and Earth's orbit. However, some scientists have argued that human activities may have promoted this formation. With its large population, China's abundant labor force is turning the disadvantages of desertification into national strengths. Highways have been built by China through areas that Western experts say will not be possible. There are clean energy plants that are operating day by day to provide energy for themselves and to be a source of revenue when exporting them to other countries inside and outside the region. That is all Top Wonders wants to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Please share with us your thoughts after watching this video or what you want to learn about in the next journey. Please leave your comments below. Bye for now, and see you again in the next videos.